Joining me now on set with the latest is NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, thanks so much for being here. A lot of ground to cover. Let's start with the doctoral student at Tufts University. What do you know about that case?
Yeah, well, her lawyer says that she is a Turkish citizen. She's getting her PhD at Tufts. She was on her way to break fast. And look, so far the Trump administration has said that they think it's because they revoked her visa because she was pro-Hamas. But the only thing we've been able to see is that article that Stephanie had, this op-ed where they're just calling on the university like so many students did. She was also here on an F1 visa, Kristen, and that allows people who have those visas the same rights as American citizens, including the freedom of speech. Now, we did hear from Secretary Rubio about this today. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa.
Now, Kristen, all we know publicly is what we were able to see in that op-ed, which obviously didn't have a call to violence. If the administration has anything else, we just aren't able to see it. And I will say her lawyer says there have been no criminal charges filed against her so far.
Wow. And you're tracking cases at some other universities?
That's right. I mean, the major university we've seen so far is at Columbia. Of course, this all kicked off with the detention of Mahmoud Khalil. There are now others who have been taken to that same Louisiana detention center, including the woman at Tufts you just heard about. I also spoke last week with a Colombian student who was a doctoral student as well, 6 months away from completing a 5-year doctorate degree, and she fled to Canada. She says ICE knocked on her door many times, and she actually called on the university to do more. Universities are in a tough spot here. They're trying to tell students, don't open your door unless there's a warrant. You can appeal to campus police. But a lot of these students are feeling really afraid, and like we saw in some of the cases, they're actually fleeing the country.
Yeah, the video is just so remarkable and disturbing, as we said. We know President Trump, in a separate piece of his broader immigration agenda, has signed an executive order cutting funding to sanctuary cities. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, that's right. They're trying to cut funding really to the policing around sanctuary cities. This is something that they said would happen. They have the ability to do this through DOJ grants. Whether or not they'll go farther, it remains to be seen. Some of those places are still vague. But this is something that we saw in the previous Trump administration that they ended up not being able to do. But these are really key grants that allow these sanctuary cities and really police organizations and law enforcement agencies across the country to be able to do things like have community programs.
And you also, you're covering a lot of angles today, are tracking the fact that the administration announced the arrest of someone who is in the MS-13 gang. What can you tell us?
That's right. That was right here in Woodbridge, Virginia this morning. Now, the mother of that suspect told our own affiliate here in D.C. that she does not think that he had ties to MS-13, that maybe he had some interactions with them when he was younger. But we were able to find out from the police documents, from the warrants that our affiliate was able to see, that they were able to confiscate a number of weapons from this apartment. Now, according to the head of the FBI and, of course, Attorney General Pam Bondi, they did a big press conference on this morning. They say he was one of the 3 top leaders in MS-13. But, of course, we'll have to wait and see how exactly he might be charged. But if that Alien Enemies Act that we've talked about gets put back in place, if the courts ever allowed it, this would be one of the first people to be sent to El Salvador without a trial.
Wow. Well, to say that you're covering all of the angles is an understatement today. There's a lot happening. Thank you. It's great to see you, as always, Julia.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.